There's a strange pattern that keeps repeating in American politics. Every time Donald Trump is counted out, every time analysts predict his decline, something unexpected happens. His grip on the Republican Party doesn't loosen, it tightens. To understand why Trump still dominates the GOP, you have to step away from daily headlines and emotional reactions. This story isn't just about personality or controversy. It's about how power, loyalty, and political identity have been reshaped inside a major American party during an era of extreme polarization. Since 2016, Trump hasn't simply led the Republican Party, he has altered how it functions. Before him, Republican leaders focused on expanding the party outward, reaching new voters, persuading undecided groups, and building broader coalitions. Trump chose a different direction. Instead of widening the base, he went deeper into it. He spoke directly to a core group of voters who already felt unheard, ignored, or threatened by political change. And instead of asking them to compromise, he asked them to commit. Over time, that commitment turned into loyalty, and loyalty, once established, is far more durable than approval. What followed was a shift in identity. The Republican Party gradually stopped being defined by policy platforms alone and became increasingly defined by alignment. Supporting Trump was no longer just about agreeing with him, it became a signal of belonging. Disagreement didn't disappear, but it moved underground, quieter and more cautious. This is where Trump's dominance truly begins, not with applause, but with attachment, not with persuasion, but with connection. And once that connection was formed, breaking it became far more difficult than anyone expected. Trump's influence over the Republican Party goes beyond charisma or media presence. It is rooted in a phenomenon political scientists call negative partisanship, the strong, often emotional dislike of the opposing party. Republicans who support Trump aren't just drawn to his policies or personality. They are motivated by a deep opposition to Democrats and the left. Every criticism, every indictment, every attack from political opponents and the media reinforces this loyalty. For many voters, opposing Trump is framed as opposing their own values, their own tribe, their own identity. Data from recent studies shows how extreme this loyalty has become. In polls leading up to the 2024 elections, very few Republicans, even those with reservations about Trump, would consider supporting Joe Biden over him. Among Trump 2020 voters, support for him remains overwhelming, often exceeding 90%, despite controversies and legal battles. This intensity of loyalty isn't accidental. Trump's rhetoric and media strategy amplify fears and frustrations, portraying the opposition not just as competitors, but as existential threats. This creates a feedback loop. Negative partisanship strengthens loyalty, loyalty reinforces identity, and identity deepens Trump's hold on the party. Put simply, Trump's dominance is not just political, it is psychological. He has tapped into the way Americans think about party, opposition, and belonging and turned that dynamic to his advantage. Beyond negative partisanship, Trump has transformed the GOP through base mobilization. Unlike previous Republican presidents who sought to expand the party by appealing to new demographics, Trump focuses on energizing and deepening support among his existing base. This strategy is vertical rather than horizontal. Instead of trying to persuade undecided or moderate voters, Trump drills down into his core supporters, encouraging them to participate actively in elections, rallies, and party politics. By doing so, he ensures a highly motivated and loyal voting bloc that can sway primary contests and influence the party's direction. Trump pairs this base-focused approach with party domination. He centralizes decision-making, controls key narratives, and leverages organizational resources to reinforce his leadership. The Republican Party, under Trump, becomes both a tool and a platform for his personal and political objectives. Political analysts note that this combination of base mobilization and party control is unprecedented in modern American politics. While past presidents invested in their party to build broad coalitions, Trump's strategy prioritizes depth over breadth, strengthening his support among loyal voters rather than courting new ones. This approach has reshaped how the Republican Party operates, making loyalty to Trump a defining feature of modern GOP politics and fundamentally changing the rules of engagement for both primaries and general elections. Trump's approach to party leadership has also created a mutually reinforcing cycle of influence. By dominating the party and energizing his base, he amplifies his power both within the GOP and in the broader political landscape. His loyal supporters not only vote, but also volunteer, donate, and actively defend him in media and public discourse, creating a feedback loop that strengthens his position. This cycle also has a polarizing effect. By mobilizing his base so effectively, Trump has deepened divisions between Republicans and Democrats. Opposition parties are not only challenged electorally, but also delegitimized in the eyes of his supporters. Policies, media coverage, and political attacks from Democrats are interpreted as attacks on the base itself, further solidifying loyalty. Moreover, Trump's strategy has elevated the role of organizational investment. By funneling resources into party infrastructure, local campaigns, and grassroots operations, he ensures that his influence is felt at every level of politics, from national conventions to local primaries. This investment strengthens party cohesion and embeds Trump's priorities into the GOP's operations. Analysts argue that while this approach has proven extremely effective in the short term, it raises questions about the long-term stability of American democracy. Concentrating power in a single leader and energizing a highly partisan base can intensify polarization, reduce bipartisan cooperation, and make political compromise increasingly difficult. Ultimately, Trump's dominance and mobilization strategy have made the Republican Party a formidable vehicle for his ambitions, reshaping the political landscape and redefining what it means to be a modern Republican. Trump's strategy of base mobilization differs sharply from previous Republican presidents who aimed to build broad coalitions. Historically, Republican leaders sought to expand their party by appealing to new demographic groups, trying to persuade independents or swing voters to join their ranks. Reagan, Bush, and others focused on building a long-term majority by attracting moderates and minority groups, even when it required compromises or ideological flexibility. In contrast, Trump has focused almost exclusively on deepening support within his existing base. His messaging, policies, and public appearances are targeted at energizing core supporters, ensuring high turnout and maintaining loyalty, even in the face of criticism or legal challenges. This vertical approach, intensifying engagement among existing supporters, has allowed him to dominate primaries, shape party platforms, and set the political agenda. Negative partisanship plays a key role in this strategy. Republican voters' loyalty is reinforced not only by admiration for Trump, but also by their dislike or fear of the opposing party. Attacks by Democrats, mainstream media, or legal investigations are framed as assaults on the base itself, which strengthens cohesion and reduces defections. Even Republican voters with reservations about Trump overwhelmingly prefer him to any Democratic alternative, maintaining a competitive edge in general elections. By combining base mobilization with organizational investment, Trump has created a powerful feedback loop. Energized supporters bolster party structures, which in turn support Trump's initiatives, events, and campaigns. This cycle has reshaped the GOP, making it both a tool for his personal influence and a political force built around loyalty, activism, and partisan intensity. The result is a Republican Party that is highly disciplined, unified behind Trump, and extremely difficult to sway in general elections, while also more polarized and less focused on expanding beyond its core supporters. Looking ahead, the future of the Republican Party under Trump's influence raises important questions about American politics and democracy. By focusing on base mobilization, Trump has strengthened loyalty and voter turnout among core supporters, but this strategy has limited outreach to new demographics. Unlike previous Republican presidents who aimed to build broad coalitions, Trump's approach prioritizes intensity over expansion, potentially leaving the party dependent on a narrower slice of the electorate. This strategy has made the GOP highly competitive in elections, even in the face of legal challenges, media criticism, and internal dissent. Republican voters continue to rally around Trump, perceiving attacks on him as attacks on their own values and identity. This fusion of personal loyalty and negative partisanship ensures that support for Trump remains resilient, keeping him dominant within the party and highly influential in shaping its platform. Moreover, Trump's organizational investments, fundraising, rallies, media presence, and social media influence have amplified the effects of base mobilization. Local party structures, state committees, and campaign apparatuses are increasingly aligned with Trump's leadership, creating a vertically integrated party system that reinforces his power. However, this intense focus on the base also risks increasing polarization, reducing incentives for compromise, and potentially alienating moderate or independent voters. If the party cannot broaden its appeal beyond Trump's core supporters, it may face long-term challenges in national elections, particularly in swing states or changing demographic regions. In conclusion, Trump has transformed the Republican Party into a highly loyal, base-driven, and polarized political machine. His dominance demonstrates the power of personal leadership, negative partisanship, and strategic organizational investment, while also highlighting the potential vulnerabilities of a party increasingly dependent on a single figure and a core constituency. The coming elections will show whether this model can sustain long-term success or if the GOP must adapt to survive beyond Trump's era.